There he is. I see you.
Hey. All right, you
What's
hear
up,
me
man?
too?
I can hear you. I can hear you loud and
Cool,
clear.
cool, cool,
So how
cool.
you been?
Nice. I'm good, man. I'm good,
Yeah.
man.
So I was explaining to the people, because I haven't been on live in a while, but the last time that I was on actually was when we had the Shock G Forever contest,
hmm
and you were actually the grand prize winner. Congratulations. Let me say it, in person to you. And
Thank,
and
thank you.
part of that grand prize was to, have a one-on-one with me. And, I'm here to hopefully answer any questions you may have or anything that you want to talk about, man. The floor is yours.
Okay, cool. First off, let me say thank you. I got everything right here. I
You
got the
got the
shirt.
collection for real. Yep.
I got
Show
the
that
shirt.
shirt.
Yo, look, I got the collection back here. Look at this. So just so you know that this what you sent probably went to one of the right people. You know what I mean? Got
Yeah.
the y'all sent me the poster, right?
Right.
Got the
Signed.
belt, lovely. Got me a sticker and all that in there. You see the collection in the background. I got the red promo freaks with the slow version on it.
Did you buy that? When did you get that version? Did you get the original? Did you get it when it first came out, or where'd you
Yes,
find that
yeah.
vinyl?
This came to a record store,
Okay.
and and the
Wait,
record
what city
store.
are you in? Let the people know where you at.
I'm in Louisville, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like I said, this came to a record store
Mm-hmm.
and scooped it there. It's got the. I know there's like a slower version of it. I don't know if it's anywhere else but on this. You know what I mean?
It's not. It was only on that vinyl. That's the only place
Right.
it was ever available.
Now a lot of
All in the
people don't
same
know.
game.
A lot of people don't know how involved Shock G is on this beat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He produced this one. You know what I'm saying? Got
Talking dirty. You
Talking
know
Dirty
it.
by Money B. You know what I mean? Got the sex
Word up.
package on there. So it went to somebody with a big digital unwrapped collection to put it in, and I'm gonna put this poster and stuff up on my wall as soon as I find a frame that fits it and all that. And I just want to say again, thank you for doing it. Uh, R.I.P. Pac. I'm R.I.P. Shock.
Yeah.
And I met,
It's amazing. Like your collection is damn near
dude. I
bigger
got
than
so
mine.
much.
Cause
I'm
I
a
don't
hip
even got
hop.
I don't even got the red vinyl.
I'm a hoarder. I'm a hip hop hoarder. You know what I mean? I dig. I order stuff offline. I find stuff cheap, scoop it up. People, in Louisville, people just don't know everything that I know about hip hop. And there's a lot of us that do. Don't get me wrong. There's a good, strong hip hop connection in Louisville, Kentucky too. And you
Well,
guys
you know
used to
what?
come and
No,
play
go
a
ahead.
lot.
Okay. Yeah, we
I've seen y'all play at least about 3 times here in Louisville.
is that right? Which one was your favorite show that we did?
Saw you guys at Coyotes.
Okay.
Uh, Shock pulled a bunch of people on stage to freestyle. I happened to be one of them. Got open, lit. Shock got open. Was like, "What's going on with you tonight?" After the show, so he walked with me 2 blocks to another club after the show where I knew the
Mhm.
DJ. And my boy DJ Havoc was there spinning. So me and Shock walked there. The whole way we walked there, people are blowing their horns, driving up to us, passing blunts out the car, passing drinks to Shock, and he's pointing to me, to everybody. Yo, you're from Louisville? Do you know this dude? This is Crash. Do you know Crash? And they're like, oh, who's Crash? I'm like, you need to, support your own. This is right in your backyard. I mean, like 20, 30 people he probably said that to between Coyotes and the club that we went to. And it was just all night long. We went there. I talked to the DJ, and he started playing instrumentals, and we ended up freestyling with members of Nappy Roots,
Okay.
stuff like that.
So it was when we were oh shit. That's you?
Yeah, that's me and Shot. A
Nice.
couple of friends that night. A couple of my homies chilling with him. You know what I mean? It was a fun night. This is him freestyling with some of the Nappy Roots dudes.
Yep. So you came when we toured with Nappy Roots when they first came out. I remember that show.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Those are our people.
Yeah, y'all came to Cahoots a couple times in a row, man, and like a couple years in
Yeah,
a row.
Cahoots is the place I remember. That was a larger venue. Cahoots used to be popping.
Coyotes. That's what it was.
Is it
Coyotes.
Coyotes? And that
Yeah,
was
it's
the one,
Coyotes.
and then yeah, and then we always would come through the back, right? And had that nice
Yeah.
big stage.
Right.
Yeah, man, I remember that.
That night, he just hung out with me all night. Every song the DJ played, he was like, "Oh, that's EPMD," and then we'd sit and he'd tell me something about when he kicked it with EPMD, and then he would play Gangstar. Oh, Guru, this Guru, you know what I mean? It was just like the whole night. He was just like my best friend. And then after that, he'd hit me up on AOL. He would just talk to me and chat with me, and he's one of the most personable hip hop people I've met in my life, and I've met a lot of people over my life because I rap and do shows locally and DJ and different stuff. So I've had the
Mm,
opportunity to meet hundreds of superstars. But Shock was one of those dudes that I'd be at my house doing nothing, and all of a sudden, bling, he would hit me up on AOL. What's going on? What are you listening to? Here's what I'm doing. Just super cool individual, and we all miss him, and I know you do too. And I just want to again say I appreciate you for throwing this out there in remembrance of him. And I'm super happy to be the recipient of it, and I really appreciate it. And I appreciate what you do, Money B. And I do have a question for you. I got to throw
sure.
out for my man Bill Jones, the barber, told me to
Uh,
ask. They just put out Sex Packets again on 2
mm,
vinyls, and they're blue, which I've always thought that would be a dope packaging to get the clear blue record in that. But they still left off 3 joints off of it, like
Sound of the
Sound of the
Underground.
Underground, Hip Hop Doll, and the whole Gut Fest. Man, we
Well,
was
you know
like, dude,
what?
you need to talk to
Have,
Tommy Boy and re-putting that out with the 45, with those joints on the 45, dude. Sounds of the Underground needs to be on wax. Is it anywhere on vinyl? Me and him keep looking for it. That's what we was mad about.
yeah, because I think so did you get that blue vinyl?
I'm about to, yeah.
But you've seen it because I'll show it to you.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen like ads for it and stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely going to cop one. I've always wanted it on blue vinyl before they ever put it out. I'm one of the dudes on the internet be like, y'all got to put it on blue vinyl. When they did,
So they probably
and they
stole your idea and did it. But for those of
I
y'all who
know.
don't know what he's talking about, this is it right here. Oh, Super
Yeah.
Juice is the vinyl.
So
But even what's dope or as dope as it being blue vinyl, that it actually has the, the, the insert art, the original
it
insert art
does.
that was on the
Yeah,
cassette, you
yeah,
know. So
hell
that
yeah,
was dope. And then, what he's talking about, it has like the sex packet blue vinyl, which is
yeah,
super dope, right? So I was juiced when I got it, but you're right, and I think because the Sounds of the Underground was only on the cassette, if
yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
And Hip Hop
Um,
Doll.
yep, and and Hip Hop Doll was sort of like I want to say an afterthought because that was the Hip Hop Doll was on the B side of Underwater Rhymes, which
Yeah,
was the vinyl that got us our deal with Tommy Boy. So I guess Tommy Boy probably figured it wasn't their song, so they wasn't tripping off it as much.
right.
And even Underwater Rhymes on the album version. So on that vinyl, that version that you just showed us,
Yeah. It's a
I'm
different
I'm
version.
not on I'm not on that version
Uh, right.
because when that was released in '88, I wasn't in the group yet.
Okay. That's
So
dope.
I'm on the remix that was on the Sex Records album. The remix
Right.
version was when I got on that. So that's a little bit of history. And
Yeah.
they redid this is an EP album. I mean, EP vinyl is not colored, but people that
Yeah.
don't know, this is the EP that featured the same song, which is the introduction
Shock.
of Tupac Shakur to the world, right?
Right. That's
So,
the origin story for Tupac.
yep, this
If
is
there's
the
a comic
origin.
book, that's the you know what I mean? That's the
This is
origin story
where
for Tupac.
this is where Tupac started, right here. So,
Yeah,
get up on your history, man.
that's dope.
Oh, let
That's
me let
dope.
me ask you a question. Let me see if you really got it. If you could pull
Yeah.
this one out.
Okay.
Do you have this?
I don't.
The Lost Files.
Is that a 7?
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know that.
no, what it was is it was an album. Hold on, that. So if you go online and you look up the Lost Files, right?
Uh,
It's listed.
okay, Lost Files. I might have a CD of. There's a CD version of it, right?
It was only a CD.
Yes. Okay.
So what happened was if you look online, it's listed as an official Digital Underground album, but it wasn't. It was it really was a compilation that I put together of unreleased songs that we had. We were going on a tour, right? I think it was the Who Got the Gravy tour for that album, Who Got the Gravy, and it was really like my first. It was like the origins of me for merchandise. It was the first time I had Shock. I was like, bro, we need merch. I was like, let me make the shirts and some CDs. And we couldn't necessarily get CDs from Tommy Boy or
Right.
whatever, and we couldn't get CDs from I think Jake Records that album was on. So I was like, I'm gonna make our own. So we compiled songs that hadn't been released before, and I called it the Lost Files. But here's the thing, you know, it's listed as a real album, but in reality, I only pressed up 100, and that's they're only like if you have the real CD of that Lost Files, there were only 100 ever pressed. So if you actually have the physical copy of that, that's a super rare collectible because there were only 100 made. Now I don't know if people bootlegged it and did whatever, but you'll know it's real because on the spine, because we basically bootlegged our own stuff. So the label is called Lil Butter Records, and it was like sort of a joke that I used to tease my brother, or that one of our friends used to tease my younger brother. So we call it Lil Butter Records. So if you ever see Lost Files on CD from Lil Butter Records, you have
Right.
a definite one of one or one of 100
100.
version of that.
So I'll be looking for it.
hmm I'm sure somebody is selling it on eBay, or you can
Probably.
get your hands on it. But I'm saying that to say, unless they're watching right now, they probably don't even know how valuable it is. Like they might have it on eBay. If you see it on eBay for like 30, $40, get it.
I'm one of those dudes. I'll find out at Goodwill for $1. And nobody will. It'll sit there for a while. I'll grab it. You know what I mean?
You might.
I run across stuff all the time like that on the second market. You know what I mean? Just cheap CDs of like, what? Whoever it is, alcoholics, curious, somebody just out of left field. You're like, yeah, that's the good stuff. You know what I mean? Now,
And then
I know De La Soul just went to court over their royalties. Did that affect you guys at all? Did that help you guys at all, or were y'all in the same position with Tommy Boy with them?
no, not exactly. I mean, their situation was their situation, and obviously I'm happy for them. Um, and because those are label mates, those are people,
Right.
and but it didn't affect us in any way. I don't think, because they were fighting to get the rights to their masters, right? So that's just something that most groups, especially back then, we didn't have the rights to. And right about now is the time when all of the groups that were releasing albums in the early '90s, if it wasn't already fixed in a deal that ownership reverted back to them, say it was a 15-year deal or whatever it was, by law, after I think it's 33 or 34, or even might even be 30, whatever it is, it's coming up on that time where all the rights are reverting back to the artists that are from my era. So I'm just happy for all and any of them that are still uh, maximizing and monetizing their catalog. And if they get complete control, as artists, we are artists, so we think outside the box. So once we get full control, we can do things that would take forever to clear with the label that has no clue, right? So it's a freedom thing. And speaking of that, are you are you into NFTs yet?
Uh, no. I've studied a little bit. I understand a little bit about it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's an individual. type of thing. I know it's almost like a Bitcoin connected to a blockchain. It's like proof of ownership of something specific, even if it's you know, I don't understand like if it can be duplicated and that type of thing. But
Yeah, I mean,
interesting.
I
I
could,
seen
I
Hyro.
could.
I thought about jumping on the Hyro coin before anything so far. I was looking at the Hyro coin, but I
Well,
got to come up.
outside of just the coins, like I think the next evolution for musicians is releasing music through NFTs. Is because as an artist you have full control. You don't need a label. It's peer to peer, meaning it's me directly to you and communicating with you. And the only reason that I know because you're such a collector, you definitely want to onboard into that space because as far as myself and knowing what the Digital Underground camp has planned, it's definitely as a collector you want to be a part of it, and then I'll personally help onboard you, like help you set up a crypto wallet because it's the type of thing like we're releasing a new single, right? And if you own the NFT, it'll unlock perks such as like uh, access to any Digital Underground show for 3 years, anywhere we are in the world, and all types of um, extra memorabilia drops, songs that only people that hold the NFT will receive. So, I definitely know that you benefit by being a part of not only the NFT community, but a part of Digital Underground's NFT community. So, I'll definitely help you out with that. Like I said, I'll personally walk you through setting up your
So,
wallet and everything.
so appreciate it, man.
Yep.
The new stuff that's got the this guy Young Humpty on it, right?
Yes, Money being Young Hump.
Cool.
Before
How
we
did
get
he get
off, I
started?
might even play a little bit of
Where
it.
did this guy come from?
Say
Where
what?
Young Humpty come I said, where Young Humpty come from? I just kind of recently became aware of him from looking into the stuff. I was like, okay, this is
Well,
cool.
Young Hump was actually um, he was a protege of Shock G.
Yeah,
Shock. Um, from our inception, there was always everybody knows that Shock was Humpty, right? But when we would do live shows, he always and the way that we were able to kind of keep up that masquerade of that it was two people is that we
like a
always
snake
had
man.
somebody else that would play that role. For
Right,
instance,
right.
if you see the same song video, that's Shock's brother playing Humpty in the video. And when we would tour, he would play him on stage or other people. He was always looking for somebody that could really play that role because Shock was a musician at heart, right? He always wanted to just play. And, you know, one of the unfortunate things because Shock, you know, he did have to hold that down. He never, what he wanted to do that he never got to do, he never got to play the bass line to the Humpty Dance live on stage because he always had to do it, right?
Right.
So, Young Hump is someone that Shock knew since Young Hump was a kid, right? And he was grooming him to audition and play himself in the Tupac movie. But I guess as he was learning him, he's like, this brother can not only can he act and play the part, but he's actually a dope MC. He can rhyme, right? And he
Right.
got the character. He has everything. So around the time I want to say 2013, 2014. Hold on, my dog is trying to get out. Don't try to get back in. Get out.
That's
So you
dope.
heard
It
all that
kind of
scratching.
it reminds me of the of like kind of like the young dirty bastard taking over his father's spot on the tours and stuff.
Yeah.
If
So
you see Wu Tang with his son, it's like watching Dirty. You know what I mean? It's dope. It's kind of cool.
right. So it is, and then so you got to think. Shock introduced me as like, bro, like because Shock was on a hiatus. He's like, I got a guy. You guys can go and you guys can continue and do the show the way way that you see it done. But in his mind, I know he's thinking like basically groom him on the stage so when Shock's ready to go out, we can do the full show, but
Uh,
he can remain Shock G, and now he has the Humpty character to do the Humptiness because people don't realize that Humpty is just a character like Batman or 007.
Right.
There's always gonna be the next person to
Right.
play that role. Um, so that's kind of like those were the origins. That's why when you hear Young Hump say chose by the nose, meaning like he was personally picked and groomed and
Right.
chosen by Shock G himself to play that role.
The nose was picked. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like MF Doom said, the mask can be worn by other people too. You know what I mean? And I've
Hmm.
seen people right when he passed, a lot of people started doing these videos to kind of pay homage to him wearing masks and stuff like that. And I thought that was dope. And I always do you remember when I'm sure you're familiar with Doom and how he was touring, but he was sending out imposters and people were flipping
Nah.
out because it wasn't Doom under the mask, it was somebody else.
Is
But
that
then they
right?
asked him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, Doctor Doom does that, and that's the character. I send out imposter sometime. Deal with it." Instead of being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got busted." He was just like, "No, that's the plot. I'm a villain, and I'm not always going to be there. I might have to send out an imposter for a job." I liked how he explained it and how it went down. It's kind of weird. And I'm sure a lot of people were tripping out when they went to the shows and whatever. But then, like, Most Def put on the mask and did some stuff in it, that type of thing. I always thought that was intriguing. It just added to the character and to the legacy of Doom. And this is kind of cool. I think maybe the same thing's kind of going on with this Young Shock dude. And
Yeah, nah, that was actually brilliant because I'm gonna tell you, like, you know, Double was in um, what's, God damn it, I'm tripping. Oh, KMD, right?
mhm, yeah,
And
Clubs on
we
Vegas.
our very first national tour, they were on together. So we toured with Third Base, and they was bringing out KMD. So
Yeah,
we toured together, and it took me years after he was in Doom to realize that that's who that was. Nobody never told me. I was like, oh shit. So I mean, it was, and I get it, right? Because if he ever decided to step away, nobody saw his face, so he could actually book two shows at the same time.
right, right,
MF Doom was in Japan, MF Doom was in
yeah,
Brazil or whatever.
right,
So a lot of people, and I know a lot of people sort of um, become emotionally attached to the people that um,
sure,
play these characters because we hear some of the backlash. That ain't Humpty. Blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not. It's Young Hump. And actually, it was Shock's idea for us to do it this way, and there was actually a plan for it. So when people really get a grasp of that, they'll kind of see, or it's either a further example of the genius of Shock G because he was that forward thinking of like, bro, I need somebody else to be able to do this so that I can do that, right?
right.
And
Hip
then
hop, hip
you
hop always has stricter rules. You know what I mean? Like we get like, oh, they're too old to rap. They're this or that. But in rock and roll, they find somebody sounds just like the lead singer and go on tour with the person. You know what I mean? And that keeps that music vital and alive. So it's good that you guys have that new component to continue it.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Hip
style.
hop is the only genre that super goes hard on that.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Like,
yeah.
we started out supposedly as this genre that we're breaking all the rules and we could be free to interpret music the way that we wanted to, and then all of a
So
sudden we became the most strict genre of music. You have to
right.
dress like this. You have to have this sort of
You
uh
can't be this. You can't
you
be
can't
that.
do that. You can't be that. You can't do this. You're
Right.
to this. Da 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 da. Oh, you're from here. No, you can't do that. Oh, that's
Right.
that. Super judgmental. Um, but I don't. We never really cared about that anyway,
Like I said, y'all said do what you like. That
and
was
we
the
meant it.
cornerstone.
We meant
And
it.
I was thinking about that before. I knew we was gonna talk, and I was just thinking about different things. And I was thinking about the first time I saw the "Do What You Like" video, and I
Yeah.
can't remember if I saw it on like Rap City or Yo MTV Raps, but I remember seeing it and just being like, until it was over, and then switching the channel, and it immediately came on the other channel, back to back.
Nice.
The first time I'd ever seen it. I think it was like when they brought it out, like the day it came out or something. But it
Right.
seems like where I watched it on one channel, I flipped over to the other channel, and then it came on that channel. And from that two viewings, I was a fan. You know what I mean? Then Humpty Dance came out and stuff got stupid. You know what I mean? I was happy to see y'all. I was happy to see what y'all were bringing to it. Y'all brought the fun to it that like a lot of people were missing. You know what I mean? Like the Fat Boys had it, the Beastie Boys had it, Digital Underground had it, Third Base had it. You know what I mean? I'm glad you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
Doom with them. I've been listening to the Search podcast about Doom, and
Mm-hmm.
it's dope. If you haven't heard it, you should check it out. It's really dope. But it's just
Shout
like
out to
when you,
Church,
yeah,
to
when you got
Search.
strung out.
Shout out to the Chill CMW. I see you out there. Um, and what's crazy, one thing that I always trip out about doing that Much Like video is the fact that, and nobody ever really mentions it, but we actually did a video in a hotel. We had a pig running through the hotel, and we actually had a floundering fish in the hallway of a hotel. And nobody ever mentions that, but I was like, what are we doing?
That's
I hope
probably
people
good.
think
As long as Peter didn't mention it, you're straight.
they would now, right? I'd be in trouble. Thank God for the 80s. They wasn't tripping.
For sure. But yeah,
Hmm.
I just loved how y'all brought the humor and stuff into it. And then like my reflect back to the Sounds of the Underground. My buddy Bill Jones was like, "Oh, that needs to be on wax because that was one of the most straightforward, just dope bars, and that was your solo." And it's like that we want that on wax somehow, some way. Get Tommy Boy to put out a version with the 45 that comes with those extra joints on it. You know what I mean?
Well, do you know the story of how Sounded Underground made it on the album?
Uh-uh. No.
So, we were, me and Fuse, we were Raw Fusion, right? And, obviously we had our stuff, but we were just, we had got on with Shock and we were recording the Digital Underground album, not the Raw Fusion album. But we would go studio every night just in case, Fuse was there in case some scratches were needed. I was there in case vocals were needed. And, we just wanted to hang out in the studio anyway, because it was our first experience being in a big 24 track big studio, right? So we're there. We just be there every night. We're recording this album, whether we're on the song or not. We were just there. So we went to set up at the studio, and for some reason, I think we were supposed to do something that night. But we get a call at the studio, and they go, "I'm not sure Shop's coming." And Atron, I think it was Atron that called the studio. Was like, "Nah, he's not coming," because it was taking a while. And come to find out, Shaka went to jail on his way to the studio, trying to steal a bottle of Hennessy out of the liquor store on his way to the studio, and he got popped. So
He
now
still you got on
we're
your
sitting
shelf.
in the studio, and we got like 8 hours of studio time, but nothing to do. And the engineer's like, "What y'all want to do? You got the time." And me and Fuse was like, "Let's do one of ours," right? So we just popped it on and we recorded and mixed it to the best of our ability all in one night. We did all
Wow.
that in about 6 hours. We tracked it, recorded it, mixed it, and how it came out is how it came out. And it's amazing that a lot of people appreciate that record because in reality, when we look back at it, or if you look back at it, it was probably the least professionally mixed song on the album, but I guess it was the rawest.
Right.
It
It
was
was the
just raw,
rugged
pure.
cut. It was like
Yeah,
the
it was rugged.
underground cut. It
It
was the
was, it was,
underground on the underground cut. You know what I mean?
yeah, because
Yeah,
you just put two cats that had
right
never
there.
been there
That's one
before,
of my favorites.
and we just went for it how we knew it. We didn't know what the hell we was doing, and we just
Yeah.
was pushing knobs and turning buttons, and however it came out, it came out. But I will say this, that you know, as much as Shock was a perfectionist when it came to mixing his records, when he heard our record, he let it go. Meaning, he didn't go, "Man, that shit is mixed hard." He just like, "Okay, that's what y'all did."
Nope.
He's like, "All right, I'll fuck with it." And he let it,
Nice.
he let it get through. So, I always appreciated that. But once again, it wasn't on the main, it wasn't on the vinyl or the CD.
Cassette.
So you had to have the
Right.
cassette. You had to have the cassette. It's called Raw Fusion.
Yeah. You know
And I had
about
that
that.
I had that line in there just so that we could scratch it later.
Scratch my fusion later, right? Yeah, that's
Right.
dope. Yeah. Like I said, we've always been like, dude, why is that not on the vinyl? You know what I mean? Like it was always one of the cuts that it was just the rugged raps. You know what I mean? It was one of the most hip hop and not as pop or comedic. You know what I mean? It was rap shit. You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah, we was on some real shit.
that's one of my
We was
favorite
trying
ones
to.
on there. Always listen to that one, man. And Bill Jones, he was like, "Oh man," I was like, "You get the new blue vinyl?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, but it's missing da da da." He said, "Why they expanded? They still missed Hip Hop Doll." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice. I just figured they hit everything on it when they went to double." But
Well, I think that they just in order for if you have vinyl, right, the grooves need to be wide enough for it to have a full sound. So it wasn't like
yeah,
they could compress, you
right.
know, 15 songs on vinyl, right? Because
Make
normally,
it with a
when
45. Put them
say
three
what?
joints on a 45. I said they need to reissue it with a 45 that's got those three joints on the 45. You know what I
Word
mean?
up,
That's what
Chuck
Bill
Tall Star. Shout out to
put it out.
DJ Cruz, you know it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Chuck,
Hell
you see Chuck Tall Star that you see in the comments. He's actually the one that created the artwork to that whole, Shock G Forever campaign and for his Runaround
Oh,
Day.
okay.
So what
Dope.
you have is his creation. Um, Chuck, you might want to jump on in a second. You know, yeah, that's the homie Chuck, and he's actually doing and directing the artwork for the first Digital Underground NFT drop, which is the money being Young Hump. Um,
Mm-hmm.
F it up music NFT. Um, Shit, before we hang up, I might play a little bit of it, get your opinion, you know, to see what you think. And what's
Go for it.
crazy about it is there's going to be over 60 versions of this one single. So it's so many unique one of ones that you could own. Yeah, we got to get deep into that. Like, so
That's
it's
crazy.
definitely collectible. So about 50 people will be able to own their own unique version of this song that only they will have. And they can do whatever. They'll own it. They'll have complete ownership. So they can put it out. They can put it on their compilation. They can re-release it. They could put it in their movie. They could put it in their
That's
anything.
cool. Yeah.
It'll be their master
Property.
copy. It'll be their
Yeah.
property. It'll be their IP once they get the NFT of it. It's theirs to sell, but there'll be perks that come along with it. So, but this single native, it has four mixes. It has the original mix. It has the West Coast cruising mix, like the G Funk type of mix. It has the Bay Area hyphy mix, and it has the 80s funk mix. So which one would you want to hear if I played it for you?
Uh, Give me the 80s funk mix.
I knew he was gonna say that. The Minneapolis 80s
I
funk
almost went
mix.
with the hyphy. I almost went with the hyphy.
But let's go with the
But
80s funk. So I'm gonna play a little bit of it first.
okay.
Let me tell me if you can hear the music first. Hold on one second. Oop. Play a little something. Y'all tell me. Can you hear this music? Did you hear that?
A little bit. A little bit.
I think. Let me see something. I'm gonna take the headphones off. See if you can hear better. I want to make sure you can hear the music before I play it because I want you to hear it.
Okay.
All right. 1 second. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Let me see if the music sounds better now. Can you hear better?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear better.
Let me see if you hear the vocal. I'm gonna play something with vocals. Let me see if you hear it now.
This beat is hypnotic.
R-E-S-H. If you're trying to get to the paper, then let's race. West Coast, yeah, I'll be roaming that left state. Tolerate her longer, the bigger her breastplate. Yeah, I think you get it on cool than polar bear coochie. I sport a hat with emojis, they got a weird Gucci. So when they follow my drip, but don't compare to me. I crash your party, get bracket, you couldn't dare, so what? Need a molly, in between the thighs, probably right, be a young pop, like that Latin pop, yeah, born with it, see you just a hater, always be running up like you jogging in elevators.
Yo, if you bitches need a job, come to work for me tomorrow. Young Hump, Money Big, suckers like Sunny D.
You can hear that?
Yeah, yeah.
So that have you ever heard that song before? You got to get the Meter Mob album. That's me and Young Hump featured on Meter Mob. Meter Mob.
Is that recent?
One of Two Shorts groups.
Is it recent?
When did this come out? I think it might have been. Nah, it may have been like 2018, 2020, something like that.
Okay, okay.
Pandemic, maybe 2020, about 2 years
Meter
ago.
Mob.
Meter Mob. So check that out. I just want to make sure
check
you hear it before I play the
Okay.
stuff. So you said the 80s mix, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So this is the 80s mix of F It Up, which is the single we're dropping
Money
as
Be
an
Young
NFT
Hump.
only single. So let me know what you think.
Are y'all going by Digital Underground or Money Be Young Hump?
Money Being Young Hump is the single.
Okay.
But as far as the Digital Underground Collective, it's our Genesis drop as a collective, and the artwork is going to be done by Chuck Taylor, Chuck Tallstar, you see on there, who's also a member of Digital Underground. So it's a full Digital Underground family collaboration type deal. So let's check it out. Give me your thoughts.
Let's go.
It's for the money, right? I'm in your bed.
Money being young come, oh, that ass up. Like money being young come, making them fuck that ass up. Like it's the 2000s. I should call it the Minneapolis 80s mix. Yeah. I see you, girl. What up, dog? Gonna drop it to the floor, bring it up slow. We're gripping over here, grab a cup of do a double shot. Show me what you got. She give me body language, and I'm all ears. She know I got green on me like a small beer. Home dance, if you ever see it come channel. She a bad bitch, me and good fella. She was working up the pole like a stop sign. Waiting for you when it's closing up shot time. Dropping to a slip truck, make the stage wait. Back it up for the player like, ay, open up the studio. Now I know I'm in trouble because I'm watching that bubble. Got to say it, I love you. Go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up. Go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up. Go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up. Go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up. Go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up. Yeah, go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up. Go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up.
Hey yo, you got the table's yours. Niggas bidding on you like labels. The name got a buzz, and that's because you got the mix of all pieces. I'm on it like the
Vocal, man.
bounce back when it bounces back. You just walk it, but it bounces back. I need to get behind that like an investment.
Right.
You got these other bitches feeling the rush inside, like asses in a dog. How many DU classes coming on? Every other week at the industry, man, Pacific Alexa. Baby girl, you get in the picture, okay, walk that big ass down this little corridor. Tell me that the forest store for me. Oh, wait, after dance, I'll pay for one, get at least three. What you think we gonna do in the VIP?
Fuck it up, yeah, go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up. Go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up. Go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up. Go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up. Go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up. Yeah, go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up. Go ahead, fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up. Go ahead, fuck it up.
Yes.
Make that ass shake. Yeah, man.
It's cool, man. I like it. It's got the party feel to it. It's got that classic DU sound. I like the vocals. Young Hump's vocals sound good. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. We're trying to keep the party lit, still stay in the vein or the vibe of what we always gave you, which is a party, right?
We all have a physical release, or is everything in NFT now?
Um, the single will be NFT only, and that's what makes it unique because you'll only
Right.
be able to get the single and especially like that version, you'll never be able to buy that version. Well, no, let me take that back. I'm sorry. You won't be able to buy that version on any DSPs, right? But the original version will be on the album, but the album will be, you'll be able to buy the album everywhere. But for the single, we're gonna put all 8 versions of the single on vinyl shortly after. And anybody that purchases the NFT on a certain tier, they're gonna be able to claim the vinyl. Um,
Gotcha.
so there will eventually be vinyl of this single on the secondary market. You just won't be able to get it right away, I don't believe, because we're gonna hold that exclusively for our NFT token holders. So that's what I'm saying. For what we're
And then if they want to put their versions out on something physical, they'll have the ability to do
they
that.
can do that. Yeah. So when we release the ones that purchase like the mashups, because there's like 55 hybrid mashups of all the versions together, but they're all unique. So if you get one of those NFTs and you own that, you can press up vinyl. You can make a porno. I
Yeah.
don't care what you do with it. It's gonna be yours.
Dun, dun, dun. Word. Put it on hamster.
Put it on what?
Put it on hamster on Pornhub.
No, oh yeah, oh, that's right. Hey man, it's been a while for me. I see you're very versed.
Hey,
You're telling it yourself. You're like, yeah, hamster X.
I'm an MC. You gotta draw from all types of pop culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. You gotta do your research, right?
Right. Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, that's what we call it. Absolutely. I'll dig into
Yeah,
that.
hey, man. Once we get off here, man, if you don't mind, I'm gonna shoot you some of my old stuff. Just to let you hear some stuff. Like I said, my name. I go by Crash DDZ. I'm from
Mm-hmm.
Louisville, Kentucky. I'm an old head. The beard's gray. I just got some purple color in it. You know what I mean? But I've been listening to hip hop and rhyming and being part of the culture here locally in Louisville, Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
virtually
Good,
my whole
good.
life. You
Sounds
know what I
good.
mean?
Yeah, send
Yeah,
that
I
to
got
me.
album
I definitely want to rock with you.
Murgatroyd, Heavens to Murgatroyd, that type of stuff. Do I now?
No, I said send it to me. I definitely want to
Okay,
vibe out.
cool, cool, cool. And like I said, now these days, my girlfriend, I met her. She lives in California. I live in Kentucky. And about 10 years ago, I put out an album with a buddy of mine named Richard Harrell called Murgatroyd. And when
Okay.
we did, I talked him into putting out the songs, the instrumental, and the acapella on Bandcamp, Heavens to Murgatroyd. And when I did that, I was like, yeah, let's put the acapellas out. And he put the BPMs on there.
Okay.
So worldwide, people would Google acapella with the BPM or whatever their beat they were making. And we started popping up. And people started putting me in little uh, like folders and stuff to share amongst producers, like acapellas and stuff like that. And so
Mm-hmm.
I would start what they call a vanity search, where you look for your own stuff, Google yourself, Google your own name. That's called a vanity search. So I would vanity search Murgatroyd and started finding these remixes from all over the world, people in Serbia, people in Greece, and this girl in California. And so she remixed one of my songs, and I had the habit of reaching out to people when I would see them online on YouTube or SoundCloud has a lot of them, and I would say, hey, thanks for remixing me or whatever. So she and I started talking, and she remixed a couple more songs, and next thing you know, she comes to visit me, and now she lives here with me, and she's actually my producer now on what I'm working on when I do get the chance to. I got a 9 to 5 weighing me down like so many creative people do. But when I
Right.
get a chance, me and her get together and build, and she does beats, and they're phenomenal. I mean, I may be biased, but it's my girlfriend, but she's dope.
Hey,
And
you better
so we work
you better
together.
say the right thing.
Yeah, I'm Crash DDZ, she's Green Meat, and together, Green Meat, like something alien, like an alien form. And together we go by Caliville, which is California and Louisville put together. And so we still trying to do it, just to be creative and be part of this culture that I grew up and have so much of a toehold in
Yeah,
that I can't
real
run from
creatives never stop creating, right? And that's what I
it.
mean
Right,
about people that try to put um, um, sort of like barriers or all these rules. Is like, you
right,
know,
right,
how you get if you are a true creative, you never stop. You know, you can say you retire from rapping, but you don't stop thinking of
right.
rap, right? So if you can do it, you should do it as long as you can.
We're to a point now where it's like it's so accessible and for people to make. You can, when I started rapping, you didn't know any producers. You didn't know where to get beats. Nobody had beats. We just rapped over whatever came out with an instrumental on the 12 inch.
Right.
And and then finally equipment started getting more prevalent and the doll came, and now I think in the future you're going to have people just making music for themselves, much like people that play video games and people that play, go online and do things like that. Because I think a lot of people, once if you get like a little digital turntable or mixer or something and you start messing with it just as a hobby, I think more and more people are going to come to find how fun music can be to make, even if you're not in the game. You know what I mean? And that's something I've always done as a hobby and dabbled with it and just had fun with it and been a super fan of the whole genre that is hip hop, including digital underground.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're saying and what is the truth is that it's actually it's a craft that you can study, hone,
Yeah,
and take pride in mastering your specific craft. It's the same way that someone that just loves to play the guitar, they play it at home, or play the piano, they play it at, Thanksgiving or their gatherings,
mhm,
but they
right,
just do what they do because they love doing it. The same
right,
goes for if you love to knit and make
right,
quilts and shit like that.
right,
You may not do it professionally, but if it's your passion, it's something that you do, you just
right,
do it, and then you share it with the people that you're able to or that you want to share it with.
right.
So I definitely am 100% behind what you're saying.
Right. Because as the world we grew into hip hop. I always say I came up listening to radio before there was rap. Like when it was all the Beatles and Van Halen or whoever. You know what I mean? The Gladys Knight and the Pips. Before rap existed,
Yeah,
I
Rick
was already
James.
immersed in music and what songs were new and what songs were old. And my mom and dad were always like, "Do you know who this is? And do you know who that is?" And my dad had a pretty good 8-track collection and that type of stuff. So as
Right.
hip hop started coming, and I started going, "Wait a minute, that EPMD, that's Steve Miller Band. I know what that is." You know what I mean? Now, I remember being in the car and hearing EPMD and just being like tripping out. My mom going, "That's Steve Miller Band." You know what I mean? And as it just escalated, and here we are, this many years later, and some people don't know a world without what hip hop is. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, we're
it's
that old.
something that's never going to change. I'm glad it's here.
It's all good. Yeah, they don't remember the samples or where things came from, but
Yeah,
that's why that's why we are here to share that knowledge and
right,
help educate for those who are interested. Right?
right, right,
Yeah. You
for
know,
sure.
I remember when E40 had that song, Tell Him Where to Go, Tell Him Where to Go, dum, dum, dum. And my son, he was like 16 at the time, and he
Yeah.
freaked out when I played him the Run DMC song that he came from. He had no concept
Um,
of sampling and whatnot. And, so imagine this was back in, what, when did that song come out? Tell him, that was like 2010. So now
right,
it's even 12 years later, it's that much
right,
further removed. So these kids, they have, you know, and it's not their fault.
right.
They don't know a world that existed before,
Yeah,
you know, before hip hop, before cell
right.
phones, before the internet, right? So they don't
Mm,
they don't give it a second thought. They just
right,
think that it's always been here. So I kind of always get a kick out of sharing certain information to younger people when they realize that, you know, some things did come before them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they were like,
Right.
oh shit. And then they get interested, and some of them will start researching and looking
Oh, for
into
sure. For sure, man.
their
One
history.
of my things I've been getting into lately is watching like people's first reactions on YouTube, like to be younger kids listening to older songs, and they say it's the first, it's either the first time they heard it or the first time they're paying attention to it, really, or something for the video.
Mm.
But it's always cool to see people still latching on to that stuff that we hold. You know what I mean? I used to be real bad gatekeeper. Everything had to be, oh, that's whack, this new stuff is now to the point where like whatever's new is new. It's not necessarily what we did and it doesn't have to be. So it is
Nah,
what it is.
yeah, it is what it is, but I love it. I love the time that we're in. I love the technology that's available to everybody.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
we should all take full advantage of it, right? So, that's why I'm imploring to you, bro, get into this NFT crypto metaverse space because that's where we're going, right? And you know, you're never too old to keep up, right? And I would say to anybody young and old, don't get left behind. Just let's rock. And while I'm around, I'm here to help anybody that's interested, right? Because one of the things that I want to do, I'm real big into financial literacy, especially for people in Black and Brown communities, right? So, I'm the type of person I want to share the information as I learn the information, because I don't know everything, but I'm just trying to figure it out. But as I figure it out, I want to share it with as many of us as we can so that you can share it. You can teach your girl, she can teach her girlfriend, and they can teach their kids, whoever don't know. Each one teach one, and let's all pull each other up and
Right.
into this
Right.
new sort of financial evolution or revolution that that is the crypto space. Because if you don't, you will absolutely be left behind, and
Right.
that is a fact. That's not even an opinion. It's a fact,
Right.
and that's what's happening. So, it's right about time we have to go play a little Madden with my son. But I appreciate. Oh, well, let me ask you this: is there anything in your collection that you have a question, like a last question that you want to talk about, that you want me to answer?
Not really, man. I mean, like I said, I just want to again say I really appreciate you doing this contest and reaching out to the fans. And I just want to say again, Shock meant a lot to me as an artist and Digital Underground as a group. And I wish you guys continued success in everything that you do. And I appreciate the interview and the gifts that you sent to me for winning the contest. And
Why don't you show it one more time so everybody can see what you want? Because this art.
got
Shout out to Chuck Tall Star. I see you, Mike Frankie. I'm seeing you tomorrow. Joseph Chica's created that T in the building. We're gonna do this thing. There it is. That's that art. Oh, and that for people that are watching, make sure you check out dmerch.com because that actual shirt, there were only 300 made. So once we're on the last few, I think we have a few shirts left. Once they're gone, they won't ever be made again because though that artwork was dedicated and specifically for celebrating Shock G and Digital Underground Day on August 25th or August 21st when we had it 2021. On DU merch, we're rolling out the new line. So this is that new.
Yeah.
That's the real one. That's coming, in the next few weeks you'll see it. But dumerch.com, that's where you can get officially licensed Digital Underground merchandise. If you don't get it from DU merch, then it's bootleg, it's fake, you know what I want to say, right? So if you don't, how you say, if you don't buy that dope from us, you're fucking up. So get it, man. Hey, Ash, I appreciate you, bro. Definitely send me that music. Definitely hit me on the back channel and let if you will let me, I can walk you through setting up a crypto wallet or a MetaMask account, just so because I know that you would appreciate what we're going to be offering in our NFT drop for this next single. Those of y'all just tapping in. I think on the way out, I'm gonna play another mix of that song. I think I'm gonna play what'd you say? Let's do the West Coast version. You want to do the hyphy?
Yeah, do the hyphy.
How you feel the way? Do you like melodic or do you like just drum bang it? And only reason I play the hyphy, but I don't know that you'll be able to appreciate it because there's a lot of sub and bass in it.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know that it'll translate through the phone. It is dope.
If you film the West Coast, we'll play the West Coast.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play a little bit of the hyphy, and then I'm gonna play the West Coast. All right.
All right.
Because I want y'all to know, man, we coming strong. This
exclusive.
This is the evolution of what we're doing right now. Money, Young Hump, making them fuck that ass up like it's the 2000s. Strip joint, I see you, girl. What up, dog? Gonna drop it to the floor, bring it up slow. Flipping over here, grab a cup of do a double shot. Show me what you got. Give body language, and I'm all ear. But you know I got green on me like a ball pier. More bands than you ever see a Coachella. She a bad bitch. We done get up. She was working up the pole like stop. Yeah, that's that hyphy, right?
That's the hyphy one?
Yeah.
Now you can play the West?
I don't know if you can hear the bass in that.
Yeah. I can tell. You can't hear it like you're supposed to hear, but I know what's going on. Yeah.
Super slapping. Oh, another thing that I have to mention is like when you buy whichever version of the NFT that you buy, you actually get the stems to it. So you actually get the beat pack.
That's dope.
So you can take it and remix it. You have the acapella, you have the music stems that you can remix it yourself. So it's like we're gamifying it. You know what I mean?
That's dope.
Here's the West
I have
Coast.
to get that. Let my girl throw a beat behind it.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and that's what we're encouraging. You know, we want to hear people make their own mix, send it in, and let's mint it and make that an NFT. Here's the West Coast, I think. Money, Young Hump, making them bust that ass up like it's the 99 or 2000. A little more that bass. Yeah. Popping that strip joint. I see you, girl. What up, dog? Come on down to the floor, bring it up slow. Flipping over here, grab a cup, do a double shot. Show me what you got. Give body language.
Hard to see the hydraulics.
Me over like a ball here. More man, you never see a Coachella. She a bad bitch. We the good fellas. See you working up the pole like a stop sign. Waiting for you when it's over like shot time.